that barely did anything, unless someone here has crazy fear of balloons, and in that case, I do apologize. But most of you didn't really react. You looked around, waiting to see what other trick I would pull out next. Well, the tricks do end here, but your reaction is exactly what I want to talk about today. The waiting. Because here's the thing. If that balloon had been something different, let's say the sound of a gunshot, signaling an emergency, something that could determine life or death, most of us here would have truly acted the exact same way. And I know what some of you are thinking. Why is this girl telling me I would not react in an emergency just because she popped a balloon? If it was a true emergency, of course I'd act. And while that is a comforting notion to have, that is not the case for more than 80% of the population. Most of us here would have looked around, waiting for someone else to step up for us right in the face of an emergency. This reaction is called freeze. So, most of us have likely heard of fight or flight. They are our ancient response mechanisms aimed at reacting quickly at danger, either by confronting the stressor head on, fight, or by running away from it, flight. However, there is a third missing, understated response, and I think you all know by now, that is freeze. I'm here today because I want to show all of you how beneath the surface of your conscious mind, your will to save the lives of others in emergencies, lies your subconscious state of freeze. A psychological state immobilizing your mind in the moments where every tick of the clock blurs the line between life and death closer and closer together. I'm here today because I want to show you the different ways in which the freeze response can present itself and how to snap out of it and take action. So, why do our brains even react this way? Luckily, we all have a built-in alarm system which comes in the form of a small almond-shaped structure deep in the brain called the amygdala. When the amygdala detects a threat, it sends a distress signal to the rest of your body through nerve pathways. These signals are then received by your adrenal glands, sitting just above your kidneys, which pump the hormone adrenaline into your bloodstream. Adrenaline is the reason for your heart rate picking up and your breathing becoming shallow when faced with an emergency. And it is quite amazing, actually, because we have this biological system that decides for us in stressful situations. That sounds pretty good. But it is a double-edged sword, because having the amygdala completely take over, called the amygdala hijack, means the part of your brain involved in rational, decisive thinking becomes overridden. This hijacked part is called the prefrontal cortex, and in the majority of people where the stimuli is high in an emergency, your brain's most likely reaction is to freeze. So, for everyone here to get an idea into what this freeze response can feel like on the inside, I'd like all of you to please close your eyes and strongly visualize the real scenario I'll give you. Think of your journey to getting to this specific TEDx event today. The street you walked down on, the transportation you took, the people you were with. Now imagine the person in front of you suddenly collapses. You have 5 seconds to act. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Everyone, you may open your eyes. Now, I'm not going to presume whether you would have jumped right into action, or hesitated, or would have frozen. But all I will say is this. It is quite calm right now. There is no threat whatsoever. Your prefrontal cortex is up and running. However, if this were an emergency with high urgency and stress, the decisions that may have been hard to make now will be much, much harder. And whatever you might have done, I am also not saying this from the outside looking in, because this exact scenario happened to me. I was recently at a concert, and the woman next to me fainted. She went completely unconscious and fell on the floor. Hundreds of people were at that venue. No one helped her, including me. And I cried after that incident because here's the thing. I am first aid certified. I spent 21 hours learning what to do in these situations. I stood close to this woman, and despite all that, I still did nothing. But I knew what I was supposed to do. Call emergency services, check responsiveness, check breathing, and I still did nothing. And I felt so shameful and so useless, because how could it be that I knew what I was supposed to do, I prepared for what I was supposed to do, but the moment that situation arose, I remained frozen. And it took me a while to figure out that I did not act that way because I did not care about this woman. But instead, I was stuck in this freeze response that I just could not get out of. Now, fortunately, the woman eventually woke up and was fine. But the situation also could have taken another turn. So I'd like to give you one last recent example in which the psychological state could have altered the outcome. On the 1st of January this year was supposed to be a New Year's celebration ended in tragedy in a Swiss bar in Crans-Montana. 40 teenagers and young adults died in a devastating fire accident. I don't want to speculate at the many contributing factors, but when you review some of the video footage, you may ask yourself some questions. Why are people dancing when there's a developing fire overhead? Why does the music keep playing? Why do people have time filming it? And I'll answer this, but it is because this is what freeze can look like. Freeze does not have to be someone rooted to the spot being literally frozen. Instead, it encompasses all forms of behavioral inaction that do not address the situation at hand. Filming is freeze. Waiting for someone to step up for you is freeze. All of these forms, all of these actions, or rather inactions, are freeze. And I would like to give all of you a simple mechanism that can help you get out of it. And it is called micro movements. Micro movements refers to moving one small part of your body at a time. Let it be clenching your fists, wiggling your toes, wiggling your brows, and even humming. These are all minuscule movements that send a direct signal to your nervous system, and you're telling yourself, movement is possible, and I am safe. And only once that barrier has been crossed can your amygdala quiet down and your prefrontal cortex start reasoning logically on how to approach the situation at hand. So, I want all of you to know that if you find yourself either physically immobile or stuck in the state of waiting, of watching, of hoping, you are in a state of freeze and you need to move a small part of your body to get out of it. And this is the thing. I am not going to tell you that if there was one thing you could take today, it would be this. No. Because an emergency is not a matter of if. It is a matter of when, and it is a when that none of us can control. So, when you are in an emergency, you need to know when you are in a state of freeze, and you need to, again, clench your fists, wiggle your brows, wiggle your toes, hum, to slowly get out of this. So from this talk, I hope that everyone here will be able to act in the moments where it means the most. Thank you.